the party told you to reject your own eyes and ears. It was their last and most essential command. And
Yep.
so I'm at the point now where, like, a few years ago, I was quoting Orwell as a warning signal, and now I'm like, oh, Orwell he knew this was coming, or of course he knew this was just all revelation of the method, or just to prime our brains for it. So
Yep.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, even to that point, I mean, now when people even try to use scientific studies in an argument, 90% of these studies can't be verified. And so, like, it'll be interesting to see how AI is applied to science. I mean, AI can uncover so much fraud. I mean, just at a high level. And
Yeah.
I think we're going to find that a lot of concepts and ideas that we've just assumed were true have been built on a foundation of lies. And then when you get to that foundational lie, it completely changes the way we view an entire element of health or science or whatever it happens to be. I hope we get to see a lot of that. I hope that doesn't get suppressed, because there are a lot of people whose livelihoods, and I mean, it's going to be really tough. There are people in academia that, you're a PhD, you're a postdoc or whatever, and it turns out your entire existence is built on a lie. That's going to be a bit of a shock. That's going to be an eye opener for those folks. And so, but it is tough because people rely on experts, and you see that a lot. Even with Elon, I will say this is the thing about Doge. Right? The most productive period I've ever had in my entire life was I dropped out of college and I started a company with 6 other guys that I got to drop out of college as well. They all dropped out their freshman year, people from MIT, people from top schools. We hadn't been beaten down or indoctrinated by college education, and we didn't know how the world worked, which meant we didn't know what to do or what not to do. And so things that were just obvious to us, like we wouldn't think that somebody would put regulations. I've been struggling with payment processors and banks for forever. Every company I've ever dealt with had issues with banks, even though they weren't controversial companies, and none of the stuff that I was doing was targeted by the government or in any particular way. There was just always this friction. But when I started my first company, it never occurred to me that money would operate this inefficiently. And so we were able, with 7 people, I've never been able to reproduce the amount of productivity that we had with 7 people when I was 19 years old. So when I see Doge, when I see these people saying, oh, well, who are these people going in and examining and auditing these things? They're just kids.